Hello ladies, and welcome back to the channel. From the title of this video, you know that I'm going to be talking about traits of a high valued woman. So from my last video, which you guys really loved, I decided to do a sequel to that video and talk about 10 traits of a high value woman. So before we get into those 10 traits, let's talk about what the definition of a high value woman means. A high valued woman is a woman with a strong sense of integrity and ethics. She is honest, trustworthy, and reliable. And in turn, this makes those around her feel safe, secure, and respected. She is also a woman who has a high self-esteem, not in the form of being vain or self-serving, but a high-valued woman knows her own self-worth and her value in what she contributes to the world. So let's jump straight into today's video. So before we get into today's video, I want to thank all of the new people that have joined my community. I had a lot of new people to join my community from the last video. So welcome to the channel. And also for those of you who have been with my channel for the long haul, I am truly grateful for each and every one of you. Now, as usual, before we get into today's video, let's talk about what I'm wearing today. So our home is about 27 years old. So some of the areas in our home are a little bit colder and can be a little bit drafty at times. So I decided to wear this heavy denim jumpsuit. And those of you who were on my channel last year have seen this jumpsuit. This is a really beautiful denim jumpsuit that I picked up from Banana Republic a couple of years ago. And I usually only wear it when the weather is really cold, like it is right now in Atlanta. We woke up to 12 degrees, and I decided to pair it up with a merino wool jumper underneath, and it is sort of a lilac color. I've put on just some very simple jewelry, which is my wedding ring and then my gold ring from Monica Venator. The perfume that I decided to wear today is by Jo Malone, and it is called Wood Sage and Sea Salt. So this is the perfume that I decided to wear by Jo Malone, and that is my outfit for today. So now that I am warm and cozy, let's jump into today's video. So the first trait of a high value woman is her character. Now, to become a high valued woman, we need to consider that once a year we might need to do the inner work and clean out some of those things that are within us that are no longer serving our personality. Just like we do a yearly clean out of our wardrobes, of those clothes that we can no longer wear or that we no longer love, we need to also do a yearly detox of our inner selves and really try to evaluate whether or not certain behaviors, our actions, our words are really serving us to become a very positive and loving and a person of high moral character. So we need to pay special attention to those traits and behaviors that are no longer serving us in a positive manner. Are you still hanging on to past hurts? Are you still holding grudges against someone who hurt you 15 or 20 years ago? If this is you, then forgive them today, ladies, and pray for your heart to change as to how you see them. And this in turn will allow you to let go of a burden that is not yours to carry. The next piece of this is, are you still hanging on to people or relationships that are not elevating you in a positive manner, are causing you to have behaviors that are not decent, are causing you to say words that are not elevating to another person. So last weekend, I watched a podcast from Jay Shetty. I don't know if any of you guys know him, but he's really, really good. And he interviewed Michelle Obama. And I wanted to just share a little excerpt from Jay's interview with Michelle. So let's pause for a moment and listen to what Michelle has to say.
Sometimes I say there's such a thing as the slow ghost, where you just sort of let relationships take their natural course. Mm-hmm. Friendships and relationships kind of tell you when they're ready.
Yeah, that's so true.
And you have to kind of listen to it. You learn as you get older. Yeah. Sometimes you held on too long. You let some bad juju stay around too long. Mm-hmm. And as you get older, you can recognize.
Now, when it comes to relationships, a high-valued woman will always think about the impact that a negative relationship would have on her future. Being connected with someone who is emotionally unstable, someone who has no plan to elevate their future, and also a person who is emotionally draining. When you have become a high-valued woman, these types of relationships are going to be avoided. And this is not to say that you can't be polite to another person because they do possess these traits, but this is to say that they are not going to be a part of your inner circle. And I heard a quote one time that says, "Tell me who your friends are, and I will tell you who you are." So a high-valued woman is always going to make a good choice in choosing her circle of friends and those people that actually make a good impact on her life. And this is something, ladies, that we really need to pay attention to, because we have to realize that whilst it is a good thing to have friendships, the quality of those friendships is what we have to pay attention to. Are they elevating you? Are these friendships emotionally elevating you? Are they causing you to become a better person? Or are these relationships causing you to give up on yourself? So we have to be discerning with the types and the quality of relationships that we allow around us. And a high-valued woman is always going to evaluate each and every person that is around her. The second trait of a high-value woman is setting boundaries. A high-valued woman is not only self-aware, but she has set high standards for every single relationship that is in her life, because she is not only aware of what is best for her, but she knows that her life is only as good as the quality of the relationships that she has around her. So there are a few areas that I wanted to share with you, ladies, where you can start to put in some boundaries if you do not already have them. Now, the first area I want to talk about that is a boundary is an emotional boundary. Now, if you don't already have emotional boundaries set, these are really important. And in setting an emotional boundary, we need to identify what is and is not ours to fix. And this can involve recognizing when a person is extremely emotionally draining. And the way we can love them is simply to refer them to a qualified professional who is able to help them with their situation. Now, sometimes we can tend to drain our own emotional energy with someone else's problems. So setting an emotional boundary is a healthy thing, and you have to identify when this person has become emotionally draining and referring them to a counselor or someone else who is qualified to really deal with their issue you in turn are showing them love because it is not something that you are qualified to handle. Now, we also need to discern when and when not to share our own emotional feelings. Now, some people do not really understand, or they can't really be empathetic to how you are feeling. So knowing when and with whom you can share your deepest emotional feelings is a really healthy thing, because sharing your deepest emotional feelings with someone who is not emotionally mature is really a waste of your time. So make sure that you set emotional boundaries, not only for yourself, but for those around you. The next thing is time boundaries. How do you prefer to spend your time? Release yourself from spending time with people who do not really value you. Release yourself from committing to doing things that you do not really want to do. And the reason you want to do this, ladies, is number one, when you are accepting invitations to be around people that you really know do not really value you, or for some reason they are just not on board with who you are, this is not only emotionally draining for you, but it also puts you in a position to feel neglected. A high value woman is always discerning of how and with whom she chooses to spend her time, because again, how you spend your time and the people that are around you, the quality of these relationships is what's going to either elevate you, or they're going to pull you down to a level to where you also have no self-worth and no self-esteem. So we want to make sure that we are also setting time boundaries. And I wanted to also mention, with regard to time boundaries, is sometimes spending hours of your time on the phone with someone else is really not a productive thing to do. So we need to set boundaries with our time as well. Instead of staying on the phone with someone an hour or two, are there other things that you need to accomplish in your day that can actually be elevating to you, that could actually be increasing the value of your surroundings? So setting the amount of time that you are on the phone with another person can also put you in a position to achieve other things in your day. Now, the next boundary that needs to be set are privacy boundaries. Are other people too much in your private life? Have you shared things with people that you should have not shared? A high value woman is always going to keep her private life private and protect those that are closest to her. So be discerning on what things are okay to share and those that are not. Now, the last tip with regard to setting boundaries are relational boundaries. Set boundaries in regards to who you will and will not allow into your inner circle and who you're spending time with. And remember, ladies, a person's character and values are a reflection of the company they keep. Now, tip number 3 with regard to the traits of a high value woman is that she has forgiveness. Being able to forgive someone for past hurts or past wrongdoing is going to elevate you in a position to be able to release pent up burdens that are not yours to carry. Now, one of the things I wanted to say about forgiveness is that just because you have forgiven someone and you have moved on with your life, it doesn't mean that you have to allow that person to be an integral part of your life. You can forgive a person and you can love them, but you do not have to let them back into the innermost important parts of your life. So practice forgiveness, ladies, and discern whether or not a person is safe to get back into your inner circle. The next trait of a high valued woman is that she is spiritually connected. She is a woman that prays for wisdom, discernment, and direction. She prays for her family and others. Sitting down, reading your Bible, joining a Bible study, this is going to help you be better at life. So a high value woman always has a spiritual connection. Now, tip number 5 is one that I spoke about in my last video, but a high value woman is going to take care of her physical appearance. Now, I am not saying that you have to dress up in a ball gown on a daily basis, but a high value woman is simply going to make herself presentable, not only to herself, for those that are going to see her on the outside. And this could simply mean getting up and putting on something as simple as what I did today. But a high value woman is going to be discerning in how she shows herself to the outside world. Your appearance does matter, ladies, and so be discerning on what you decide to put on. Be discerning as to whether or not you need to just pull your hair back, which is one of my favorite things to do, but be discerning how you are showing up to other people and what you're putting on. Now, I know that some people are more comfortable wearing sweatpants or something like that, but if you have something that is in your wardrobe that is a little bit more classy, then it's better to put that on and show that you actually made an effort to get dressed, but that you care enough about yourself. So a high valued woman is always going to care and take care of her appearance. The 6th trait of a high value woman is that she is nurturing. A high value woman is capable of giving and receiving love. She is a good listener and is able to be supportive in the growth and development of other people. She is happy for another person when they achieve a goal, and she doesn't hold back on giving them a compliment. Now, one of the things that a high valued woman has learned about being nurturing is that oftentimes we as women forget to nurture ourselves, and we also need to be nurturing to ourselves, whether that means that you are going to go for a walk, be in quiet, you're going to sit and read a book that you've been trying to get to all year long. It may also mean that you are going to sit in a bubble bath or just do something that feels really nurturing for yourself. Now, whilst we are also going to be nurturing to other people, remember, ladies, you cannot pour from an empty cup. So we always need to make sure that we are doing something nurturing for ourselves so that we can be nurturing for other people. So the 6th trait of a high value woman is that she is nurturing not only to herself, but to other people. The 7th trait of a high value woman is that she has a plan to give back. So giving back can mean that you are volunteering your time, you are serving the elderly, maybe it's tithing. We all have different ways of giving back, but do you have a plan as to how you are giving back? And a high value woman is always going to have a plan because she knows the importance of giving to other people, especially when you are receiving. So you want to make sure that you have a plan to either volunteer your time, and time also is money. So volunteering your time to go to a nursing home once a month to sit with an elderly person and maybe talk with them or play a game of cards or something like that. Volunteering at your local church, tithing. Having a plan to give back is definitely one of the most important traits of a high-valued woman. Now, trait number 8 of a high-value woman we talked about in my last video, but I have to mention it again because high-valued women always have self-respect. Now, having self-respect doesn't mean that you are going to be vain or pedantic. Having self-respect simply means that you love and respect yourself enough not to let other people pull you down. And also, you respect yourself enough to take care of yourself, to take care of your appearance. And however that means for your own personal self-care, having self-respect can be one of the most important things that you can improve on your journey to becoming a high-valued woman. Because when you do not respect yourself, no one else will. And having a sense of self-respect can also keep you from being in situations that bring harm. So putting yourself together, ladies, and again, I'm not talking about wearing a ball gown or dressing up, in the latest designer fashion. I'm simply talking about just taking a moment to care about your appearance before you leave the house. I've seen some people turn up at the grocery store in outfits that look like they were going to bed. So the 8th trait of a high-value woman is that she has self-respect. The 9th tip of a high-valued woman is that she has financial stability. Now, again, I talked about this in my previous video, and if you haven't watched that video, I will link it in the description box down below. But having financial stability is an important trait of a high-valued woman, because having financial stability is also a way to love yourself, to value yourself, to protect your financial situation for the future. But always being broke and in need of money is not a way to protect your financial stability. And sometimes, in order to build a financially stable future, means that you have to stop spending. And if this is something that you have a problem with, then try going on a no-spend week or even a no-spend month. And then as it gets easier, you can actually go on a no-spend year where you are simply just saving and investing and just really preparing for your future. So doing things that are going to harm your future financially is never a trait of a high-valued woman. So we want to make sure that we are looking after our finances, because having financial stability allows them to live and give like no one else. Now, the 10th trait of a high-valued woman is that she is generally a happy person, especially if you have all the 9 tips that I have mentioned in this video in place. A high-valued woman is generally a happy person. She is not a person that is walking around frowning, or a person that has to step into a room with her head down. A high-valued woman has done the work. She is proud of what she has achieved. And she is a woman who is generally happy. And again, she is happy not only because of the work she's done, but because of the relationships that she has around her. And those relationships are elevating, they are supportive, they are generally other women that are happy with their lives and with who they are. So the 10th trait of a high-value woman is a woman who is generally happy. Now, I have one bonus tip as to the trait of a high-value woman, and that is a high-value woman will never allow herself to get involved in disagreements that diminish her own self-worth and value. Remember, ladies, it is okay to walk away from a situation that is taking a wrong turn. Never allow the emotional immaturity or insecurity of another person to disrupt your physical, mental, and emotional peace. And remember, ladies, it is better to preserve your peace than to win an argument that takes you away from the emotional boundaries that you have set for your life. So those are all the tips I have to share in today's video. I hope you've enjoyed it. And once again, if you are just landing on my channel for the very first time, my name is Teresa, and this channel is all about leveling up and becoming more elegant and more graceful. And if this is something you're interested in, then please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. And also, those of you that have just been watching, go ahead and click that subscribe button, and also be sure to turn on the notification bell so that you get notified every time one of my videos go live. Thanks for watching, ladies, and I'll see you in my next video.